Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Jodie Sweetin has spent most of her life in the public eye, but very few people knew how close she came to losing everything long before she ever felt truly grown. When she recently opened up about her past, she revealed something that stopped fans in their tracks. She genuinely didn't believe she would make it to her 30th birthday. This wasn't a dramatic metaphor or a figure of speech. It was her reality during some of the darkest years of her life, years she fought through quietly while the world still remembered her as the smiling child star from their living rooms. Growing up in Hollywood is rarely as glamorous as it looks, and for Jodie, the spotlight hid struggles that were unfolding long before anyone realized. The world adored her youthful energy, the charm she brought to the screen, and the way she seemed to brighten every scene she entered. But behind that familiar smile, she was wrestling with pressures she didn't yet have the tools to understand. Fame came early, expectations grew fast, and the real life that most kids have time to figure out was something she never got to explore at a normal pace. As she transitioned into adulthood, the gap between who she felt she was and who the world assumed she was began to widen. It's a feeling many child actors know all too well, trying to find a sense of identity when everyone already thinks they know you. And for Jodie, that growing disconnect spiraled into something far more dangerous. She turned to unhealthy coping mechanisms, convinced they would numb the noise, silence the pressure, and offer some temporary escape. But temporary relief soon became a destructive pattern. The choices she made didn't come from a place of rebellion. They came from pain she didn't feel equipped to talk about, let alone confront. She has openly spoken about the years where she struggled with addiction, describing them not with shame, but with a kind of honesty that shows just how far she's come. Those years weren't glamorous or dramatic in the Hollywood sense. They were messy, isolating, and frightening. And as she explained, there was a point where she genuinely believed she would not live long enough to see her own adulthood play out. Imagine reaching your early 20s and feeling convinced your story wouldn't continue much beyond that. It's a level of despair many people keep buried, but Jodie has chosen to bring it into the light. She talked about the nights she didn't know if she would wake up, the mornings she didn't expect to see, and the birthdays she wasn't sure she'd reach. When she says she didn't think she'd make it to 30, she means she was living with the constant awareness that any day could be her last if things didn't change. Her honesty carries weight because it didn't come from a place of seeking sympathy. Instead, it came from wanting others to understand what recovery can truly look like. Her journey wasn't a straight line or a dramatic movie moment where everything suddenly clicked. It was slow, painful, and filled with setbacks. Recovery doesn't erase the past. It rebuilds from it. And that rebuilding process is where Jodie discovered her strength. She began to open up to people she trusted, started facing the parts of her life she once tried to run from, and gradually learned that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's survival. The support around her grew, and she began to gather the courage to confront her addiction head-on. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. But it was real, and it was transformative. As she grew older, she began to see her life through a lens she never thought she'd have access to, one where she had a future. She learned to appreciate milestones she once thought she'd never experience, turning 30 being one of the most emotional. When that birthday arrived, it wasn't just a celebration of age. It was a celebration of resilience. A moment she once believed she'd never reach had finally become part of her story. Her openness today isn't about revisiting old wounds. It's about reminding others that even when life feels impossibly heavy, even when it seems like there's no next chapter, there can still be one. She now uses her voice to inspire those who might be living through the same pain she once hid behind closed doors. She reminds them that recovery isn't defined by perfection, but by determination, the willingness to keep trying even when you feel broken. Jodie also recognizes that her journey isn't something she overcame once and walked away from. Healing is ongoing. Growth is continuous. And every day she wakes up with gratitude for the life she fought so hard to reclaim. Her message is simple, but powerful. If she could survive the moments when she couldn't see a tomorrow, others can too. What makes her story even more meaningful is the way she has rebuilt not only her health but also her identity. She's found joy in her career again, embraced opportunities that make her feel grounded, and built a life that reflects the person she always hoped to become. Whether she's working on heartwarming Hallmark projects, connecting with fans, or speaking openly about mental health and addiction, she does it with a transparency that resonates deeply. She knows that her voice matters, not because she's a celebrity, but because she's someone who's lived through darkness and come out stronger. People relate to her because she doesn't sugarcoat her struggles. She doesn't pretend everything is perfect. Instead, she shares her truth with a kind of bravery that encourages others to do the same. Today, Jodie Sweetin stands as proof that a troubled beginning doesn't define the rest of your story. The years she once feared she wouldn't survive have become the foundation of the woman she is now. Grounded, self-aware, compassionate, and unafraid to speak out. She is living a future she once believed didn't exist, and in doing so, she's become a voice of hope for countless people who may be facing their own battles. When she says she never thought she'd reach 30, she's not just talking about age. She's talking about the miracle of finding a life she once thought was out of reach. Every day beyond that milestone is a reminder that healing is possible, recovery is possible, and life can be bigger and brighter than you ever imagined, even if you once thought it wouldn't continue. Jodie's story continues to unfold, but one thing is crystal clear: she has grown into someone stronger than the struggles that almost defeated her. And by sharing the truth of how close she came to losing herself, she's helping others find the strength to hold on, keep fighting, and choose life, even when the path forward feels impossibly dark. Her journey is a testament to courage, to resilience, and to the simple but powerful truth that no matter how lost you feel, your story isn't over. Not yet. And if Jodie Sweetin can rise from the years she didn't think she'd survive, then there's hope for anyone who needs it. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.